All right, Rose. I'm so glad. And right before I even pressed record, you were sharing, and I was like, hold on, I have to record this
I got
because
too excited.
yeah, it's just so powerful. And I've known you for probably, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years.
I think it's yeah, I think it's like 4, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like you were around in like 2017. I remember because I remember I lived in Marina Del Rey at the time. You were in
Mhm.
some of my programs, my work, and everything has evolved. But you went
Yeah.
off and were doing your thing, and then all of a sudden you come back, and I see you at Harmonious Hustle virtual,
Yes.
and then you join Money Miracles. And since I've been hearing about all of your shifts and breakthroughs and upgrades, so
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that, like what you just shared, that you were in kind of a stuck place. Start there and let us know.
Okay. Yeah. So like I said, I was just in this like state where I was just like, I don't even know if I should be doing what I'm doing anymore, like what I'm trying to create, like, um, and I just felt like I wasn't even sure if I was capable of doing it with like sharing my gifts with people or if people were going to be interested in what I have to share. Um, and so I just was like at that state, like, what do I do? And then Harmonious Hustle came up and I was like, I wanted to attend last year, didn't make it, had no excuse but to join this year. So I just was like, okay, keep the husband busy and I'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And the minute I said yes to it, it was like little things were like coming my way, and I just was like, wow, like it wasn't, even though, I mean, it just was like little things, little by little, like transactions were coming my way. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like I said yes to something for me. And then all of a sudden, it started coming back around.
Yeah.
And so during that Harmonious Hustle weekend, I had a big breakthrough. Like I just really started to see the way that I was like taking care of myself mentally, physically, um, the people I was surrounding myself with, and even though like I love them, but it just wasn't like it wasn't really feeding me anything.
Right.
And I needed to surround myself with women that were like in the same vibe. The women that are wanting to grow and make changes in their lives and see the vision that I see. And once I was in that circle with everybody that weekend, it just made me see like I'm not the only one that feels like this. And I know that, but the thing is that I have to surround myself with it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times I ask myself, like, well, where am I going to find these women? How am I going to do this? Um, and that's when I really realized that like investing in myself is really important.
Mm.
Not just like physically, but like mentally investing in myself is huge. It's well worth the money, like especially working with you.
Thank you.
I mean, like I had breakthroughs when we first worked together 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I there was other programs that I wanted to join with you, but it was like financially I couldn't. And it's funny because I look back and I think that not only was it financially, but I think my mind, like, I don't think I was mentally prepared for it yet.
Yeah.
So I feel like the gap that we had in between was like preparing me for all of this. Like, I feel like it was, sending me into this transition into like becoming who I become now. And
Yeah.
it's just really, you put this fire under me that just like, I don't want it to go out at all.
I love it. I'm here to fan your flames, totally. So, plus, you know that I believe in you. So I'm like, Rose,
Yeah.
get out there. We got to do this. We have money to be made, but also there's people that need what you have. So let's talk about this. When you were in Harmonious Hustle, of course, day two, I opened up in the hustle day. We talked about money mindset, wealth consciousness. You joined Money Miracles. What was it like joining Money Miracles? Was it like, all right, I just want to be in this energy of women that are trying to make more money, that are about being in their purpose? Like, what was that decision for you?
Um, I think it was like being surrounded by the women that have been successful, like the women that you brought on, hearing their
Yeah.
stories, like really um, made me connect with them on a level where I just felt like I've been there. I totally understand what they're, you don't just see like the ending story, you hear it all from the beginning to the end. And that is really touching and it's inspiring to see how these women have made that huge change in them. And
Yeah.
then to see other women that are like in that same, like, they're kind of not the same level because I don't feel like there's levels, but I feel like there's we all have our moments and I feel like everybody that joined was like, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but like we were all we're all like at that stage where we're just like, we want more,
Yeah.
we want to get out of this like little hellhole that we're living in.
Yeah. Or even if it's not a hellhole, I feel like I hear what you're saying. It's like I picture everyone that joins Money Miracles, any of these programs, but Money Miracles especially, it's like you're on the edge. You know that there's more for you. So
Yeah.
you're like, let's just dive in and freaking do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I said yes to Money Miracles, it was because I had the breakthrough and I was like, I can't get rid of this feeling. I can't get rid of this high. And I know if I don't continue, I'm gonna just eventually backtrack and I'm gonna be back into the same position that I was in when I joined Harmonious Hustle. And then I'm gonna be hating that I didn't
Yeah.
join
Right.
Money Miracles.
So
So
you've done it in Money Miracles now.
I've done
How's it
it.
on the other side?
And oh my gosh, like ever since I said yes to that, transactions were coming in before Money Miracles even started. Like I had already said yes to it, and made my payment. But it was like once I said that yes, then things were coming. And I just was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy how it's working, Like
Yes.
I understand the law of attraction and taking action and all of that stuff. And it just was like, I'm totally blocking myself. I was blocking myself and I had to get out of my own way. Um, but like they say, you are what you hang around with, and I wasn't really surrounding myself with those high vibe people, so it wasn't going anywhere. And once I surrounded myself with it and said yes and stepped into the power of like, I know what I have can help people.
Yeah.
um and there was moments in between that time where I came across friends that were needing what I have to give, but they weren't open to it. And I
Mhm.
was getting so upset because I was like, I know what I have works. And I was like yelling it to my husband, like, I know it works. Da, da, da. Like and it just was, and it's not their fault. I mean, I've been there where it's like, you don't take that step because you don't see it yet. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, they're going to have to find their way and I'm still going to be here. But like, I can't want it more than them, And
Yeah.
so, and that's where I was getting dragged down because I was allowing myself to be giving too much energy. And I was realizing that I was seeing how I was giving myself too much to people that weren't ready for it. And but I'm still here. Like when they're ready, I'm like here,
Yeah.
and because I've been that person and I totally understand it.
I love
But
that because that's the women. This is how women, because we love so deeply and care that we try to save everyone.
yeah,
And then we're like, it's depleting to us.
yeah,
So what I love how you showed up, did it anyway. When you change, your energy is going to be the invitation for them. So tell
exactly.
us, because you have showed up this is why I asked you to come on, is because you've showed up in Money Miracles. You get the coaching in the group. That's the thing about Money Miracles that I love,
Mhm.
is that for the price point, there's 6 weeks that you can ask me whatever you want, get feedback on whatever you want. And there were a few key times where you came in and you were like, all right, I'm on the edge. Someone wants to buy something. I hear Nicole in my head saying, charge this
Mhm.
much or charge more or get paid or whatever.
Yeah,
And then you did it and you got paid and then someone else came. So tell us about that because I feel like that's what this is about.
yeah.
And yeah, you could
I
go
feel
either
like
way. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like you really gave me that confidence in myself to be able to take that step with people because I didn't I wasn't confident in charging people, and especially like I would charge very little or if I knew they were struggling, like I would but it's so funny because it's like if people really want something, they'll pay for it,
Yes.
and they always find a way. And when you gave me that push, like just like knowing that you were behind me, like pushing me, cheerleading me on, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm not gonna be attached to it. Whatever happens, happens. And
Yes.
so once I took that step, it just was like boom. Like it was like they had no problem like saying, okay, here it is. Like there was no hesitation. And I really felt that like being confident in it is what really makes a change because they see it, they feel it, they know it,
Yeah.
and when I'm like not confident, then they're just kind of like, okay, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And you gave me that confidence. So when we had that call, I just was like, okay, this is it, and I'm just gonna own it. and not be attached to it. That's what I learned from you too, is that, if it happens, great. And if it doesn't, it's okay. Like,
There's more
there's
coming.
more. Yeah, more
Yeah.
is coming. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the thing too, is like when we invest in ourselves, like you had to trust when you felt funky. We all, as humans, feel funky sometimes. We feel stuck. And especially we get like that when we're not living in our potential. And then soon as we start realizing, oh my God, there's a better way, there's more, I can do this. It's like we blossom like a flower. And I've seen you do that where you're just like I know that you should be getting paid for your services from way back. And I know that you've been taking so many trainings and you do the deep work and you're not afraid to be in the shadows and working with all the things, like you go deep. So I know that you're meant to be paid. Tell us a little bit about what you offer and your work in the world.
Okay. So from way back, like I don't know if you know that I do doTERRA essential
Yeah,
oils.
I remember.
So that's my platform. But I've branched out to so many other things. And I was building a team with doTERRA, but now I'm just like not really focusing on that. I'm focusing on my breath work,
Mm.
Reiki, aroma touch techniques with the oils, and also doing mindfulness for kids.
Oh,
So yeah, and that is something that once I had gotten into all this like self-development, I'm like, why is it that nobody's teaching this when, to kids? Why weren't we taught this stuff? And I didn't know that there was people out there helping or whatever, but I I knew when I started getting into this work, because I have kids myself, that this is something that I wanted to teach my kids and then teach others.
yeah.
um, just being mindful of our emotions and learning all the techniques that all the tools that we have, to be able to change those emotions within an
Yeah.
instant. Like, and so I've created programs for I've created a program for that. um and actually I had in between, right before Money Miracles happened, I think it was, yeah, right before, like I was signed up, but right before the class actually started, I had two people sign up for it, so for their children. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't believe it. I was like, these people actually trust me.
Yes.
Yeah. And
It's
so
so
I
many.
and I I just, and the thing is like I always try to remember to just stay like true to myself and don't change like who I think I should be, because I've already attracted, certain types of people that like feel the energy off of me. And sometimes I could get caught up in that, like, oh, like I feel like I'm not, like this person or that person on Instagram or and so whatever. um but I just have to remember to stay connected to myself. And I know a lot of your meditations help me do that.
I love that.
Yeah.
And this whole thing, this what I teach in Money Miracle is definitely what I teach in Miracle Worker Method. It's like this level of standard in leadership that we have with ourselves. And our clients feel it when they're coming to pay us. Our lovers, our family, everyone feels it. And it's just a level of, you know how we said in Harmonious Hustle Day 2, high maintenance in
Yeah.
the good way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like maintaining. So I feel like it's so important. And for you to charge the way that you've been charging, because I remember there was something you were like, I would have given this for free, or I
Mhm.
thought about giving this for free in the past. And it's like there's so many people that are out there that are pay it. And what I hope that like in 3 years from now, Rose, you and I can see this video and you'll be like, oh, that was way back then, and now all the abundance.
I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that. And also your 10,000
Oh
meditations,
yeah.
that was a huge help throughout this whole process too, because it's been keeping me focused on what it is that I want. Um, Actually, like you said, feeling it, I mean, it's just, I was doing that morning and night. And then there's some nights where I kind of forget, but I have to remember it. And it really just helps clear my head and puts everything in perspective for me.
I love
Keeps me
that.
on track. Yeah.
I
So
love that.
every little tool that you have out there, girl, I am like soaking it all up,
Oh my
all of
God.
it.
That makes me happy because this is why I created. I get an idea and I'm like, I should put that out. I should record this. I should do this. Someone else could use this. And I remember when I was putting out the $10,000 meditation, I'm like, I don't know, is this cheesy? Like, do people even want to
No.
listen to this? And I get messages even from men, my friends, like that they're like, I've been listening to it. So,
Yeah.
I'm glad. Well, Rose, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for sharing your experience. And I'm just glad you say yes to you, because here's what I know listening right now, that there's women that every time Money Miracles opens, they think about it. And they think,
Mhm.
oh my God, this sounds good, but I can't afford it. Oh my God, this sounds good, but my husband might be mad. Oh my God, I don't know. Am I going to get anything? It's a digital course, it's not live.
Mhm.
And every time the women, you weren't like this, you jumped in, but there's women that I have these intense conversations with. And the ones that say yes, they always have beautiful breakthroughs, because there's that moment of trusting. If there's a
Yeah.
woman that's on the edge thinking about it when she hears this, what would you say to her?
Girl, I didn't even tell my husband.
I mean,
I
it's business.
seriously, I don't know how much great advice that is, but I like seriously just joined because I was feeling it. And I said, you know what? This is going to work. I know because I've worked with her in the past. And
Yeah,
I was just like, and I want to be surrounded by these women that are going to join. A lot
yeah,
of these women are like, they're like, have big success stories. And I'm just like surrounded by them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but
yes,
you told me like, stop saying, that you're feeling small or
yeah,
whatever. Don't
yeah,
compare yourself to them. And it's so true because I'm like, well, they had to start somewhere. So I joined because I knew it would work. I trusted it.
yeah,
And I mean, I already made the money back on what and it hasn't even been 2 months or something like that.
yeah. I mean, we just ended like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I made the money back and that felt great. And then I joined your rebirth
Yeah, the meditation
meditation
retreat. Yeah,
and that worked out like perfect too because girl, I'm telling you, like the stuff that you say is like totally lining up with everything that happens in my
I
life.
love it.
Where it's like, if you think money, you can't afford it. I mean, there's so many like
Can't
little
afford to
nuggets that
miss
I've
it.
got from you.
You can't afford to miss it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then things pop up where an opportunity is like, here you go. Here's an opportunity for you to have this money. Now you can either take it or deny it or whatever. And I took it and I was like, no, I'm going to take it because I need it for this course. And then boom, I made the money back right away and was able to pay it like within a day or two.
yes,
So, you know what I mean? It's like, it's all about that trusting and staying connected with yourself. And that's what I've learned, like from you. Like, I
yeah.
mean,
And this is what I like. I literally don't just teach this to you all, as you know, I live this, because every time
mhm,
there's something that's come up in my life and I'm like, this is a bridge to my next level. I feel it.
yeah,
I know it's going to take me to my next level. I don't have the money, but I just trust that it's going to work out and I show up for it. And that's what happens. So I love this. And I love the advice of you don't have to ask your husband, because really, if something is for us, we have to do it. We have to do it.
we have to
Um,
do it. We have to, like, yeah, because I mean, he even seen the energy within me,
yeah.
and he just was like, without even, he was just like, okay, well, what does she charge? Like, let's just pay it so she can, because if you're getting this feeling just, by one weekend
Yeah.
course, like imagine if you work with her for a couple of weeks.
So here's the thing is, I will say this because Rose shared this and other women might be listening and be like, well, maybe I don't even have a business. So should I do Money Miracles? Yeah, there are women that were having successes. There were some women sharing that they were having $20,000 months and things like that. But those women, I guarantee, are looking at the women that has $100,000 month and they feel that, right? We
Mhm.
always have someone that we can look to and say, oh my God, they have more. The reality is we're all on our own path. So whether you are someone that doesn't have a business, there's women that are retired that did Money Miracles and they got so much of it from it, because it's being in that energy. It's us
Mhm.
circling up and saying we deserve more. We deserve to let go of money fears. We deserve to let go of money struggles, and let's be here for our greater good. And some of those
Mhm.
prayers are really about love and healing and not even about money, but it
Yeah.
helps us with our money. So
Yeah.
so yeah.
It helped me to realize like the things that I was holding on to from my past and um that are affecting me now. Like things that people might have said to me. Like my dad told me once that I've never been good with money. So that stuck with me and I've always thought that. Um, and then another thing was just like making mistakes with money. I assumed that I'm just always going to make mistakes and
Right.
really changing that mindset and knowing like, hey, it happened in the past. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay, but we can always change the next day and the day after.
And money's
So
not that serious. Like we can be lighter with it and then we make more of it with more ease.
I have one more thing and then
Yeah,
I'll let
go
you
ahead.
go.
Sure.
That's actually what you just said because it's in my notes. I wanted to tell you about your program that it made me feel lighter to trust.
Hmm.
Um, because I started to see myself worth with the money. So like from the very beginning where you were talking about like decluttering and all of the stuff and the way that we like the way we present ourselves, like
Yeah.
if we're the clothes that we wear, the purses that we have, like the shoes that we wear, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's like, oh my gosh, I really need to change it up.
Yeah, and whatever feels good to the individual, right? So that's the thing,
Yeah.
like, I even do it too. I go to the store sometimes and I'm like, "What if I met the love of my life right now?" Like, do I wanna be in this dog hair covered sweatshirt? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
so it's like
And
we're human, but it's
yeah.
like, let's be very aware of how we embody that queen,
Mhm.
right? That energy that we know that we're meant to be.
Yeah, and it really does, especially if you have kids, I mean, like set that example for the kids too. So it
Yeah,
just really made me see all that. And then also your program was like everything was in well order. Like every emotion that I felt just from starting it to
yeah,
like the very end, it was like all in the right order.
yeah.
So one week I was feeling a certain way and I watched you know, the the
Love
weekly homework or yeah,
yeah,
and then I just was like, "Oh my gosh, that's what I was feeling." Like,
I love
so
that.
I felt like it played well with my emotions, and I love that the bonus call that you did in there. It really felt like she actually cares. I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, like this is not just a program that she just puts out there. Like she actually keeps adding nuggets to it."
yeah,
Um, so that I mean that, and so it's like
I
well
do.
worth the money. You know what I mean? You get lots of
Growing.
information in there. And then I was watching the live videos of the other women, and I just was like,
Yeah,
I was soaking it all out too because there's a lot of good information and everything that's on the site. So it just
yeah.
made me feel really good. I just wanted to get that out there. And I get really excited. Like right now, I'm super excited talking to you. I'm just like, ah, like,
I know. I was excited too. I'm like, this is great. I just have this week talking to some of my students from these courses, but this course, like literally, I just love this work. And I just am here to. I'm always cheering you ladies on. That's why I say, like, in 3 years, I will remember this video, and I
oh,
will be looking at where are you at. Like, like that stuff stays with me because this is really meaningful, and I know what it means to be a woman that believes in herself. So I just know there's so many good things that are coming for you. So Rose, thank
oh,
you
thank
so
you.
much for coming on and taking this time to be with me,
Yes,
and
thank you.
for just working the course and showing up because I know that you have a lot of people to help, and I'm excited for that.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate you and have a great day.
Thanks, love. Hold on. I'm gonna